Hello, Pirate Dave here. It is another new comic book day. It is May 27th, 2026, the last new comic book day of May. Let's get right into it with some comic books. And up first is Absolute Wonder Woman number 20. Diana has been fighting off the forces of Veronica Cale's Suicide Squad the last couple of issues, and she is just at the finish line, I think, of dealing with everything Veronica is throwing at her. Of course, Supergirl ad, as is tradition. Fantastic splash page. Look at that. I don't have much to say about this story arc currently. It's not bad. And I don't mean it that in a, well, it's not very good either. No, it's great. It's pretty straightforward. You can see Veronica Cale there. I think that, I think at a certain point you have to kind of you have to kind of accept the reality as a comic book fan that it's very unlikely that Diana will suffer any sort of significant loss here. Although, I'm willing to be surprised, and it's not like the absolute universe has some sort of obligation to stick around that would justify her not incurring significant losses. But I don't know. I'm just skeptical that we see a whole lot of stakes. The more successful that the absolute universe goes on, if that makes sense. Up next is Wiccan and Hulkling Raid of Ultron number 1. From what I understand, this is going to take off from the Wiccan solo series, Wiccan Witches Road, which is now complete. I'm very glad that they've gone right into another property starring Wiccan and Hulkling. I did enjoy both characters from Wiccan Witches Road, which was really my first experience with them. And this is this feels like a beefy book, so I think we're getting a bit of an added page count. Oh, and yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a bit of an anthology. It looks like we have 4 stories happening here. Right off the bat, you see a wonderful splash page there with a lot of characters. I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know, maybe 2/3 of the characters featured in here. I see the Wiccan, Hulkling, Vision, you know, uh, Wick Wiccan's brother. Wiccan's brother in the background. I think his name is just Speed. But anyway. And you see a Jacopo Camagni article there. Marvel remembers. Those are always classy. This guy popped up in the last series, Witches Road, and he reminds me of Chemo a lot from DC, I gotta say. Looking forward to this one. I think it is part of, looks like it's celebrating Pride Month voices. I'm going to be honest, not a whole lot of the voices content I have read in past years have really blown my socks off. Let's hope that Wiccan and Hulkling buck the trend there. And up next is The Seasons number 10. This series has not been coming out as fast as I'd want it to because of how good it is. If you're not familiar with what The Seasons is about, it's this high performing family of sisters who are being enraptured by a traveling circus. We really don't know what the circus's intent or their plan is, but they're using these mirrors to trap people into their own high fantasies. And on the cover there you see Winter Seasons. She's the eldest sister. She's currently trapped by the mirror, and it has caused her to take over the town because her strongest desire is for people to appreciate her brilliance in her artwork. And so she's become this ice queen of the town. And Spring Seasons has broken the spell of Summer Seasons, her vain sister. I think I pointed to Summer Seasons. They do look alike, spring and summer. She's broken the spell of Summer Seasons, and both of them are trying to make it into Winter Seasons party to try to take the next step, which is presumably breaking her out of the illusion that she's in. Look at that. I love the fashion in this. Summer Seasons, I love this character so much. I was making profile banners for League of Comic Geeks last year, and I made one specifically for Summer Seasons. That's how much I enjoy the character. if the series sounds great to you, I mean, pick it up. It's Rick Remender, it's Paul Azaceta, it's colored by Matthias Lopez. Like, it is an all-star creator team right there, and it is some of Remender's best stuff. He is hearkening Miyazaki, he is hearkening Winsor McKay of Little Nemo, and he's also said it's a tribute to the Adventures of Tintin, that style as well. So if that kind of book sounds great to you, man, I mean, you should be picking that up off the shelf. Up next is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Echoes of the Empire #2. See this great variant cover here with Darth Vader and that red background, and then right in the back is Princess Leia and Chewbacca. The cool thing about Leia's costume, this is the costume that the Leia actress in Galaxy's Edge, the Disneyland area, wears. This costume is actually from one of the video games. It's from Battlefront 2. So it's very cool that they pulled a costume from something like a video game to be Leia's primary costume on Batu, is the name of the planet that they're on there. Sorry, I don't know who that guy is. he's really standing next to some super heavyweights in Star Wars lore there. Oh, look at that. We get Rey right off the bat there. The interesting thing, of course, is that this is mashing up the characters from across the generations, because the whole lore of Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland is that it's changing over to the original trilogy characters. And so, I mean, that means that there's going to be a little bit of a clashing of old and new characters. It's very interesting. I don't think that was Leia on the, let me go back here. I don't know. That certainly looks like Rey, right? That's Rey's iconic. Yeah, no, he says he uses her name. Oh, okay. So I see. So this is Rey is hearing a story from this guy about when the original trilogy characters were on Batu. So Rey is not going to meet Darth Vader and all that in this. Okay, that was very confusing at first, but I get it. Maybe I spent too long figuring that out, but maybe you'll be less confused of the few people that are watching this when you open that up. It is very cool to read through that comic and then go be at Disneyland in that same setting. I mean, how often can you do that other than reading like Spider-Man and going to New York locales, right? Lastly, for the floppies, well, for the new floppies, I should say, because I've got a really cool bonus. Vampirella Armageddon #11 from Dynamite. Look at this on the side. For some reason, Dynamite cuts their books like this every so often. They just have this they cut them just slightly short, man, and that first interior page gets exposed. I don't really like it, but I do like this series. I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Tom Sniegoski has been steadily moving towards the conclusion of this epic War in Hell storyline, where Vampirella's dark side has taken form outside of her body, and Vampirella has to rectify that. She's got to find a way to stop. Oh, look at this 2-page ad for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I guess Buffy's coming back. Absolute Wonder Woman writer Kelly Thompson presents a striking new Buffy. That's cool. So maybe you're excited for that, huh? Vampirella has to face her dark version to I really don't know. Save the world? Save hell? I guess if this dark version of her takes over hell, presumably the world is in trouble too. I don't know that we've gotten a clear message on that, but maybe that's the inference. For the bonus, up first we have, I'm going to say Jalaya. I'm just going to take a shot at that. This is written and illustrated by Junie Ba. You may know Junie Ba's name from Monkey Meat. More likely, you'll know his name from The Boy Wonder, the DC miniseries about Damian Wayne. It was a really good miniseries. It was actually a black label, which was odd because it's not like it was necessarily violent or adult or anything. But I think that it was black label because the idea is that it's not necessarily canon to Damian Wayne. However, it seems like everybody that's read it has agreed that not only does it do Damian Wayne really great, it has a great story about Jason Todd in there. It's really a great experience overall, and you can see when I open this up, Juniba's kind of art style. It might be a little bit of a surprise that, a Bat Family book would have an art style like this, but it works so well in The Boy Wonder. And if you haven't read that yet, definitely check it out. But this is a West African fantasy epic. Juniba is Senegalese, and so this is presumably going to dive into some West African folklore, as as the little flavor text says there. So I really don't know what to expect from it. Juniba, of course, has a history of telling folklore type stories. The Boy Wonder is very much told like a folklore tale. He also did a recent book called The Fables of Earl King Wood. That's still available in a beautiful hardcover version, but it's like $40, and that's one of the things about Juniba's work is it's very cost prohibitive in that sense. But I will tell you, I spent $40 for Fables of Earl King Wood, and I did not regret it. I spent considerably less for this. I think this was under $10 for the paperback here. Hopefully it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great. I really don't see any possibility that it isn't. But lastly, this is a very special one to me. You may not find it to be too too exciting. This is Moonstone Books, the Phantom number 22. It's a Comic Collector Live exclusive variant. Comic Collector Live is or was, still is going, I believe, an online platform for buying and selling comics. I believe you could also track your comics as a database there too, a lot like the Comic Geeks app or League of Comic Geeks. So, but back in 2008, they did two exclusive variant covers for the Phantom, Moonstone's first series of the Phantom. You can even see a certificate of authenticity here for this version. This has not been open yet. I don't know that I will open this. Of course, there are other variants of this book. I have already read it, so there's really no reason for me to. But on the other hand, I really don't like leaving things just sealed like this. I love to open stuff up and mess around with it a bit, but maybe I have no reason specifically to do that for this. This really was a grail type issue for me. I never thought I would get my hands on one just because it was a 2008. It was not a very popular series, a non-DC Marvel publisher. I mean, how many people have even heard of Moonstone Books? For this obscure character from a online platform during a time where online platforms were still not the juggernaut that they are today, they only printed 300 copies of this variant, and I assumed I would never own it. I actually got really lucky, found an eBay listing for this, ironically, right? It was $30, which may sound ridiculous to you for this book that nobody cares about really but me. But oh my God, I'm so glad. I actually own the other number 21 variant that they did. And I was lucky to get that one. So the fact that I've got both of them now, never thought it would happen. Never in my life thought it would happen. And it doesn't hurt that the illustration is really great too. Just really solid work. I wish I had the artist name for you offhand. I do not remember who illustrated this, but it's a good one, and I'm super excited to have it. Thank you very much. Hope you were just as excited about that Comic Collector Live variant as I am. I don't believe that that's likely, but hopefully you're excited about something this week, and you had a great week and a great new comic book day, and I will see you next week. Bye.